two where they didn't notify the ref at all. So we really are down to one game all season hasn't been covered, which is pretty traditional. We usually miss about 2 to 3 a year for everything, including all the high schools. Gil wanted to have a thank you to everybody who's pulled 2 or more games in a weekend, because we know how hard that is and what a drain it is on everybody. Gil will be handling the appointments for the Summer Mountain League, so we want to make sure, update your availability on the spreadsheet on the Google Doc, which is on every communication we send out. I'll be handling Summer Sevens, the Rocky Mountain Challenge, the Sneath Cup, which is formerly known as the Barbo Sevens. That is 2 events. Do we have a second for me to go into this? Yeah. It's the West is still going to run the Sevens for one more cycle at least.
West of ACR3.
It's the ACR3.
You're correct, because we have the tournament in Omaha. Sorry about that. I forgot about
And
that.
Howard Ken is the match commissioner for that.
However, having said that, it's the exact same thing as the Old West Sevens. The winners have to accrue so many points in a 3-event structure. Then they go on to nationals. I think we send 3 out of the West to nationals. We are going to need, it's going to be an all-hands-on-deck weekend, because here locally, Howard Kent puts on a huge social tournament. We will give you as many games as you can handle, plus at least 1 more. It is a full day of rugby. It'll be at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. We take care of feeding you, all your drinks and beverages, and I think we get the
What's the date of that?
Just 7?
I think it's the weekend of the 21st.
It's the week after ours.
So it's
Weekend of the 21st.
That's because Dix has got this big lacrosse team.
Yeah, normally we have this at the end of July, but the World Lacrosse Championships is in.
When is the difference?
So 21 June.
What? For Rocky Mountain Challenge.
Huh?
21 June.
The challenge is
Lacrosse is taking.
World
Kicks right there.
Lacrosse Championships has that place shut down for 8 weeks. Nothing else. There won't be a concert, nothing at Dick's. No soccer on the fields, nothing.
I won't be there. There's 2 rabbits
a lot of
games,
money
but
for
other
it.
than that, yeah.
Say again, Bob?
I said Dix is getting a lot of money for it.
Guys, we need every single person there, because we have to supply full ARs to every one of the competitive games in the challenge side. And then everybody's going to get to also referee in the open side. And in the semifinals, we actually have to provide a team of 5. And it is a lot of rugby that day.
Who's going to the Sacramento? Oh, Eric. You won't be there either.
You're
You
off.
need to book your flight for that.
I don't know where I'm flying from because I have that week off on vacation. So I'm trying to figure out where I'm flying from.
Gil will shift to being, as soon as we start the fall, Gil will shift to being the backup assigner, which is what I do for him now. So make sure anything you have that concerns your assignments, you send to both of us. So that, you know, like when I had to do it for 10 days while Gilligan was in England. So if I hadn't been copied all those, we would have left teams in the lurch. Talk about Rocky Mountain Challenge a little bit, Tom?
Yep. And then also the evening sevens.
Yep. Let's talk, well, why don't you, Bob, can you give us a 2-minute thing on the sevens, or on the Rocky Mountain Challenge, sorry.
Okay, as you've heard, that's on the 14th, 15th of June. We have 5 referees that are coming in on exchanges. 1 from California, 1 from Nebraska, 3 from Kansas, or Heart of America, what used to be Heart of America. Right now we have 8 varsity teams, 6 JV teams, and I believe 7 girls teams. So we're going to have a full weekend. We have 4 full-size fields. It's at the Aurora Sports Park, and there's also a lacrosse tournament going on at the other part of the tournament. So, Saturday, marching of the team starts at 9. We'd like to have you guys there a little bit before. Last game will be over at 5 on Saturday. Sunday morning, we start at 8 so that we can finish up by 3 because the championship game is at 2. We will supply food and drink and beverages all day, Saturday and Sunday. And then I will take the referees, and if they have significant others, they can come down to Darcy's too. So, because we don't have a banquet anymore, to help the referees, we take them to dinner at Darcy's. So, we have a team coming in from Manitoba, for those that have been here before. We have one team from Manitoba. We have Colorado, Minnesota, Heart of America, Texas. They're still called Heart for this. Nebraska. We have a team coming in from Nevada.
Bunch of teams.
We have a lot of teams. So Minnesota called up and said, she was pretty sheepish. She goes, "Hi, this is so-and-so from Minnesota." I said, "Hi, how are you doing?" She goes, "Okay." I said, she goes, "Are we allowed back in the tournament?" I said, "Why?" She goes, "Well, you know we didn't come last year." And I said, "I know, we missed you." She goes, "Yeah, we didn't like that other tournament. It was a bad venue, bad organization, and bad teams." So I wish you would put that in writing so we could get that. All the referees and ARs will be getting custom-made jerseys. I always believe that referees don't like polo shirts, they'd rather have a jersey. As Mr. Weaver says, he likes that jersey. And it's my understanding we have to have number 4s for these games now?
We would appreciate it if possible.
Okay, so we'll need to have some, we'll try to get more volunteers there to do that, but since most of you guys know how to do number 4s.
We'll probably have to fill in, guys. To build on what Bob's saying, I don't know what anniversary of this tournament is.
14.
So it started the year before I moved to Colorado. It has always been a top flight event. It has improved itself every year. We've improved our service delivery to the constituents every single year. Sorry, I was in corporate meetings all day. I'm talking like those guys. But it's really what we do is providing a service, and you know, we've upped our ante every year. The first few years it was whoever was available, correct, Bob?
Yeah.
And we have slowly raised the level of what we've done. Now, if you're not assigned to be in the middle, we absolutely still need you, because we provide ARs on every single game. We've never missed it. We never will miss it. Some of us will end up ARing back to back to back a couple of times, but that's what we need to do. With all the levels of competition we're having across the United States at every level, from the Eastern Rockies all the way up to the various levels of competitive region playoffs and nationals, they're requiring more and more games to have full-fledged ARs on them, and it is a way to get your foot in the door or get yourself assigned to better games and still get to participate in some form. I haven't gotten to be in the middle of a lot of really awesome games, but I've been on the sideline of a hell of a lot of them, and it's because I learned to be a good AR early on. You know, Eric's been on the side of a lot of them because of that. So any questions about that? Get your availability to Gilligan and I. If you can be there, let us know. We'll send out a bunch of emails starting in the next couple days so we can get everybody there. If you can only be there one day, we understand, but we need you there if at all possible. So any questions from anybody on the challenge?
And for Brighton's sake, we have scorebooks.
Enter.
Have that issue.
That's why we have number 4s. Tom?
The scoreboards aren't always correct.
I understand that, but
As we saw this weekend.
Yeah. In Rio Tinto. Not my problem. Yeah, in Rio Tinto last week, the scoreboard was wrong.
Did you want to talk about Aspen?
No. For Aspen, we'll be sending out a basic letter that says the selection criteria and what we're hoping to accomplish at Aspen this year. We're still trying to tweak it a little bit, but basically we want to use it as a developmental tournament and get young people up there either to AR or to run the center with coaching on every game. So we'll send that letter out probably later this weekend.
so just being true to the rumor that you and Nelson are going to tag team the finals as joint referees?
No, there is nothing to that rumor. Although we might be able to keep it that way. Any other questions from a scheduling point of view?
One thing, sorry, I'm not in the camera. We still occasionally get emails on why am I not getting any games? Anybody been wondering that? Because you didn't fill out,
Just
we,
Squeak rule. I'm just joking.
it's, for you it's a conspiracy. For everybody else, it's because you didn't fill out the document. That's what we go by. We used to just do
Even
it.
if you fill it out, though, sometimes it's read.
just write the checks.
Why do initial assignments change?
I'm sorry?
So why do initial assignments change? I was assigned as AR for the ARC last week, and then it came out and it changed. I was just wondering what happened.
Good question. Gilligan did that. Did we move you to something else or just take you off?
Yeah, I was too young to do this season too.
Probably bakshish, as they say in the Middle East. I don't know. A lot of times we need to, we may have somebody who's the next weekend has a huge AR assignment we want to make sure they're doing okay at. Maybe somebody made a change for who knows what reason. Usually if your referee assignment changed, it's often because we had to move you up. Sometimes a better referee, a top-level referee suddenly became available, Mark, didn't have to travel out of town, so we plugged him into this game, and that ends up cascading down a ways. Usually it's the other way around, as Fred Thomas, our national assigner, reached out and grabbed Derek when we thought we had him, and everybody slides up one.
Is it possible that we could get...
No.
Moving on.
What was the question?
There's two schedules with the one in Rugby, Colorado, and updating that.
We're working on that.
Okay, thank you.
Um,
That's all I need to know.
For right now,
Website would be nice, correct?
yes. The Rugby Colorado site was tough for me to navigate, but for right now, no.
It's like 3 buttons to click though, and then you get to a schedule to see your name.
If you know which three buttons.
I
Double talk
Just-
Mary and
we
get
can save the
away
link.
right now.
So,
Double talk.
one request I do have is the coach
No,
assignments.
no, you know where to go. I mean, if I was...
Alright, nice.
Tom,
So,
do we have time to talk about coaching assignments?
Not yet.
Okay. No soup for you.
We may have a break because I can't find Zach. Quick introductions.
Oh yeah, so this is Emilio, he's played East High School, he's up at Northern Colorado, he's very interested in getting involved.
We're in Northern Colorado.
Greeley.
University of?
So, yeah, he was eager to jump to the chance to come here, and I had the misfortune of introducing him to you guys, so for you to do the revenue development process. Yeah, good.
I sent an email to Rick and we'll get your email correct. I didn't check it correctly. And, do you know him?
I don't know.
Trying to get brownie points for last one.
I'm Chris from Markhouse.
Oh, okay, welcome Chris.
You've been here before.
Markup's your dad, you gotta go the other way.
Yeah.
No, never mind. Smile and nod.
I'm not his.
You.
and why don't you introduce yourself as well?
I'm Nick Chicarico. Kurt's my mentor, which is awesome.
Nick, check out Nick.
Naughty boy, yeah.
Does he know what you're called bad touch?
You see how I'm coaching him? You see how I'm
Bad touch here.
Kurt, what are you mentoring him in?
That's the question.
Mark, recap from Vancouver.
Yeah, as part of our exchange for Aspen, we went to, we started a new exchange with British Columbia, and I meant to do this a couple of meetings ago, but I just forgot. So I went up there for 2 weekends. Was lucky to get in the country.
Really?
Yeah, because,
Because he was honest.
Is your face on the post number?
well, so that's a funny story. So we picked I swear to God, it was the Asian Joe Zevin of immigration, and it was a frustrating
Going
person.
online.
It looked just like him. I swear. I was like, oh man, we're in the wrong line. So he said, what are you doing in Vancouver? I'm like, well, we're just here to see the sights, be a tourist. And he's like, oh great. Well, what is your itinerary? I'm like, well, we're going to go to Big Vancouver Island and stay with a friend there. And then I have to referee a rugby game. Then we're going to go up to Whistler. Blah blah blah. And he goes, is that your job, refereeing rugby? I go, no, it's just a volunteer thing. And then my wife cleverly says, oh, but he wishes it was his job. So then he made a big red check, says, great, on your way. We go to the next person, and we were stuck in secondary customs for 3 hours.
Because you want to get a job up there.
Well, and they said, what benefit was it for Canada for you to be in here? And,
Did you say you did referee second here to show you
I
what's
said,
what?
I said we made it a pretty good referee, which turned out it wasn't true.
No kidding, but.
He said, oh, he was a real pedantic person. I'm going to send you home. I can send you. I can put you on the plane right now. Blah blah blah, 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 and luckily we got in, we got the hell out of there.
Yeah,
We missed 2 ferries and then missed another one, and eventually got to Vancouver Island about 9:30 at night, which I proceeded to drink a couple beers. The games there were really intense. I was scheduled to do like, their premiership, their premiership, like Glendale has a team that plays in the league just below it, but it's still above like their D1 league. So I refereed their game, and I was going to do a premiership game. And everyone was competitive, all 30 players, and they were taking it to the next level. There were some ex-hockey goons that played, and control for my part was an issue. I learned a lot on the trip, just kind of like reversing penalties for like a little argy-bargy punch-off or whatnot. Up there, I don't know that I would do it down here, but so I had some control issues, and then I did another D1 game. I didn't get a premiership game like I planned. But overall, it was a great tournament. Lots of great hosts. I met one of their signer guys, and he says that we have so much sevens in the summer that if you have referees that want to come up on their own dime, they'll host you and take care of you, and they are very good hosts. So if you guys did want to like take a road trip or get 3 or 4 of you guys together, I have a list of all their summer sevens events, and it's some pretty good rugby up there if you guys want to go see that part of the world.
And lie your ass off in customs.
Well, so going forward.
So, yeah, here's the deal with custom. You go ahead.
Well, no, going forward for all of our exchanges, we're going to have an email and a letter for you to carry and say you're invited by Rugby Canada. You know, this is part of an exchange program. I didn't have that, and again, like I sent a letter for one of our English guys to come over this spring already, so it doesn't an issue. Usually it's a pain in the ass to get into America, and Canada's. But like that's just something like if you do want to change out of country, let's make sure you get a letter from the inviting union or whatever.
And if you don't have a letter, you're there on holiday.
Yeah.
Nobody has a problem with you coming to their country on holiday. You're going to see the sights, you're going to visit some friends. Do not say you're refereeing rugby unless you have a letter, and I'm not sure that always gets you through.
Yeah, because I should have filled out a work permit, even though it's
Because
volunteer.
they consider it work, and you're going and taking jobs from their referees. And I've seen it on more than one occasion, so I'm here to enjoy it.
I was going to say, also, if you do an exchange overseas, you can go to usrugby.org to do the IRB International Clearance Form, and then you will get a letter from the other union saying that you're cleared to come in. So that's another thing you can do.
I'm here on holiday, works really well.
Well, the thing that threw me off is what's your itinerary? I'm like, oh shit, I don't know where we're staying. We're staying with friends.
Yeah.
So I was honest. But yeah. If I would have gotten thrown out, I would have gotten blacklisted a lot. I would have a tough time traveling the rest of my life in the other countries.
Well, Russell said something about putting you on a fly list.
So yeah, be smarter than I was. But it was a good exchange. We're going to continue it. We're going to hopefully bring someone in for Aspen and send one of you guys in the spring. Any questions?
Atlanta,
I am off.
make it shorter than Richard Everett's presentation.
I think I will talk for less than an hour and a half. His talk was scheduled for half an hour. So anyways, am I in review? So I was invited and had the honor of going to a women's development camp in Atlanta. It was part of kind of piggybacked onto the IRB Women's Sevens USA stop in Atlanta. This was in February, so the camp was fixed on Thursday, Friday, and the sevens matches were Saturday and Sunday. Due to weather issues, the camp was shortened to part of Thursday and Friday. But anyways, overall, there were about, I think, 20 people invited. 12 were actual campers, because some of the invited people like Leah Berard, Haley Slaughter, Olivia, like people that don't need to be at this camp, but are women in rugby. So there were people like me who were fairly new to refereeing. By that point, I'd only refereed about a year, and then there were people who'd been refereeing for 4 to 5 years. So it was a really great spread of experience from all over the country. I think almost every referee society was represented, with a few exceptions. So like I said, Thursday and Friday we just had talks. People like Mike Cobb, who's the East Zone manager, talked. Mark gave one of the talks, the Big Five talk, and other ones, Richard Every, who's the USA Rugby Referee National Panel assigner, head guy, whatever, head honcho was there, Ed Todd, Leah gave a talk as well. So the talks ranged from anything from how to manage play, how to manage back talk, how to manage disciplinary issues, to all, like the tackle players, etc., with scrums, to also how to put development into our own hands. So how to pick a coach, and if we're not happy with the coach, I'll be quick.
No, Zach.
Oh,
Not you at all, not you at all.
okay, so yeah, so the talks were about how to actually manage tackles, how to manage scrums, how to, look at the next level of scrums, where to do the right offenses, or picking the right infringements, but also the thing that I got a lot out of it was how to develop yourself as a referee, especially since we'll be moving to Deep South, which does not have such a strong coaching culture as here. So Mark gave the talk about the self-evaluation forms that he gave a few sessions ago, but also just how to watch videos on YouTube, how to approach, like if you're working on scrums, what kind of things to seek out, how to watch a stand-up game focusing on scrums. Same with tackle contests, like before the tackle even occurs, you should know what's going to happen. Should the defense win? Should the offense win? Should it be neutral contest? And that kind of stuff is way above my level right now in a game. When I watch film, I can do it, but in a game, I'm getting there, I'm not there. So seeing that these kinds of talks really helped, kind of to go up with the development. And another big thing that I got out of this was, it was a whole bunch of women in refereeing. As you can tell, there are not that many women in refereeing. So it was really cool to get together with a whole bunch of people from all over the country. I went to San Diego, my parents live in San Diego, so I went there for a tournament as well and to visit them. And so I met up with 4 campers. 1 came from Portland, 3 lived there. I was in Kansas City this last weekend. I stayed with Krista, who's also another camp, who was also a camp. We hung out all weekend, it was awesome. And it's really great just to have, and Haley also came into town to referee a CU Boulder game, and we grabbed coffee afterwards. And everyone was so open to talking. One of the girls is a 3rd-year medical student, and I'm going to medical school. And so it was really nice to talk to her to see, like, well, how has she managed that? How is she planning on managing? There's just such a wealth of experience, life experience and referee experience from everyone there. So it's really cool to be put in contact with people. Like, we still talk, we're Facebook friends. I don't know them that well, but I just spent a weekend with some of them. So everyone's very open and helpful. And also on top of that, with networking, people who are there that are in the very, very top levels of USA Rugby, of IRB, of 7s and 15s. So I did not know who a good 90% of them were. So I'd be grabbing a beer with someone, and then I would find out that they are like the head IRB 7s guy that I didn't know who was. So it was really cool to get their experience, see how it's run, see how development is run from our level all the way up to the highest levels of refereeing. And Leah gave us a talk as well. She's Leah Berard. You guys all know her. I'll hold the name, obviously. But she gave us a talk on what it takes to be a top level 7s or even 15s referee. And it gave all of us a perspective. Like, are we willing to put that work in? Like, what do we want out of refereeing? Where do we want to go? And I think everyone had a different answer, and it was just good to think about it. And then the last thing I have to say is on Saturday and Sunday we did the IRB 7s. Every camper had a role, whether it was an AR or, so anything from AR to number 4 to 5, 6, running water, whatever. So it was really cool to be part of that team and help out the referees, the top level referees, but also work as a team within the camp, with all the campers that were there. So it was a great exposure to how the 7s event, a high level 7s event was put on, and gave us an opportunity to work at whichever role. And then, I guess that was the second to last thing. The last thing I wanted to do is to say about this camp is that, yeah, it was a very rugby loaded, a lot of stuff to learn, but it was also the organizers made a big effort to make it fun. We were split up into teams at the beginning of the camp, and we had some of the, like, in your points, and at the end, whichever team got the most points would get some swag. And some of the games or some of the points were like, well, look at these tackle videos. If you get the tackle video right, then you get this many points. And we're like, if you do this one on the beep test, you get this many points per team member. But other ones were like, well, name the top 5 deadly species in Australia, and things like that. So it's a very...
So many gives away.
So, well, then don't use that one. You guys changed it like 3 times, so I'm pretty sure you can find other ones. But yeah, so it was really cool just to, it was very intense and very well run, like very informative in that respect, but also cultivated a culture of teamwork, friendship, and general awesomeness. So, I don't know, I had a great time. So anyways, and it was in all serious. We had a lot of fun during there. I mean, we were stuck in a hotel for like 4 days because of this apocalypse, so kind of had to make it work. But if you ever get the opportunity to go to one of these, I highly recommend it. And that is all I have to say because I think I've talked too much. So, any questions? No. All right, we're good.
Everybody, meeting about 6 o'clock. That's my email address. If you can send me an email, I'll make sure you're on our
That's the
Google.
worst written email address.
I know,
Yeah.
I wrote it back. The handwriting of a serial killer. Just don't go in my basement. And if you want to know something strange, Snow was there. Plan to Atlanta, go to the hotel, and there's a frickin' snowman in the middle of Atlanta hotel.
You're from Colorado, why is this a problem?
The whole city shut down.
I've been there when
Like,
it snowed, it's,
And it was, I mean, we're from
There it is.
Colorado, and like, yeah, we're like, oh, whatever, you're gonna shut down one inch of snow. There was a sheet of ice everywhere. Like, Mark and I went for a walk, and we like slid down the sidewalk.
Yeah, it was brutal.
It
You
was-
walk up a hill.
You couldn't walk up a hill, so I understand why the city shut
Tom,
down.
you lived in Kansas, you're okay with that, right? Same.
I live in Georgia too.
And the thing is, it's not us in the snow in Georgia, it's us, the snow, and a million idiots who can't drive on it.
Yeah.
You have that problem here, but nobody's done
Texans and
I've never
Californians.
seen anything like this.
Okay, and
Yeah.
piggyback on that, we have 3 people going out for more camping, so to speak. You and Nick and Owen Dennis are headed to the youth camp. What is that, 25 and below?
No, it's just, yeah, it's 30 below, really.
30 and below. And it's for younger referees that have not been doing much yet, but it's a good way to get yourself jump-started with a lot of rugby knowledge. And then we have Eric going out to Mark's camp in Sacramento on, what, the 21st? Friday's the 21st, so yeah.
Saturday, the 21st.
Saturday's 21st? One of those days.
And me and Gil are sending Ryan somewhere.
I think that's next on the agenda.
So.
No, that's something.
So the whole idea is, these camps, you meet other referees, you can kind of look at yourself and look how they do it, look how you do it, you can learn from people about the same level as you, and you can just make some good friends, so when you travel in the future, you have people to stay with, people to hang with, people to cry to when you totally blow a call. So whatever, it helps you expand your group of referee friends, which is pretty nice to have.
Well, one thing I forgot to mention about the U19 or U18, Derek Summers will be giving a presentation on Friday evening, it's mandated by Kurt Weaver. Kurt Weaver has mandated this across the problem. That's why he bowed out as the main guy, because he wanted to see Derek squirm.
Thank you for that.
What's this
Thank you.
presentation on now? Super top secret?
Super top secret.
Next announcement is who's going to England.
We got one more piece of information from Gil a minute ago.
Okay.
Real quick, we got a second. State finals starts at 11 here at Glendale. I don't know if it's turf or in the stadium.
It's in the stadium.
It's in the stadium. At 11 a.m., the D3 final will be Ray Hernandez in the middle. Good job.
Yeah.
Did I read the email correctly? Also, you are referee of the year in Rugby, Colorado?
Yeah.
Yay, Ray. The ARs will be Mr. Haggerty and Gilligan. Mr. Kenny will be number 4. The final is at 12:40. It's kind of a weird start time. Mr. Weaver will be in the middle with Mr.
Oh, good job.
I'm butchering your last name, Nick Tricarico, and Brighton Kumalo on the line. I will act as number 4.
Support your fellow referees, Kurt.
And the D2 final will be at 2:40 with Mr. Goldhammer on the final, in the middle. Mr. Kenny and myself on the line, and Ray Hernandez is going to stay and act as number 4. If one other person wanted to show up all day, we could definitely use a spotter for doing some of the paperwork. It's a fun day of rugby.
At least you're on grass and not fake grass.
Yes.
So your feet won't burn off.
Kurt, yeah, this weekend.
Yeah, that was
Last year's wasn't that great.
No extra
Kurt, you're up. What's a hot shot?
That's a whole different thing, Tom.
Long question,
I can go through that.
Isn't that Coke and heroin,
That's
man?
the party.
You can just solo too.
Don't dilute the heroin.
Yeah, you might. My dongle.
Oh, well, see, you're so good that no one will be on the team.
All right, so we're gonna go and show you real quickly a tool that is very awesome, that we will hopefully be getting many of in the coming weeks, months, and years.
Radios?
They're not radios, but so this is called a solo shot. I don't know what you all do for technology in your refereeing. I think it could go anywhere from, all of us have used the radios, which for some reason a lot of us have trouble clicking on and clicking off. Right. So the radios are a first step, I think, into technology for refereeing, but I think it's not the only thing, certainly. I think there's a lot of other things you can do, including, most of you have a smartphone, and do you record yourself during a game with your smartphone or not? Also then, your smartphone can now probably track your GPS around the field, everything else, but there's a lot of other tools that are out there that are amazing. Not the least of which is the GoPro that some of us have worn. I know Nick wore one during a game. Thankfully, I know I've seen you strapped up in one before. Sometimes team requests that you wear them, but these are great tools to be able to use. It just depends on how you use them and if you use them after them. And so I think any technology is wonderful as long as you're actually going to use it and then apply it to make you better as a referee. It's one of those things I think has a lot of merit because most of us, after I've talked to some people after games and said, oh, send me video. So talked to a couple of referees and said, oh, I didn't get any video. Either the coaches didn't take any or I didn't talk to the coach afterward or whatever it might be. We have trouble getting video of ourselves that it's good, high quality video to be able to utilize for referee development. As well, then the video you get is usually ground level, which is always difficult to then just see through players and what's going on. Solo shot is a solution to this problem. It's not the only one, but I think certainly it's the best one that's out there right now. I'll show you the video real quick, because it's better than me yakking about it. So, 649 for it. So you wear a GPS on your arm or in your pocket somewhere. And the reason this one's better than the last model is that this actually zooms in with you. And so, oh yeah, never talk about it.
You just like the selfie.
I do like the selfie. Let me take a selfie.
So this tracks you.
It does. And the nice thing about it is that you can go out to a field, put it up in a tree if you need to, or up on the goalpost or something where it's, up on real high, and then you can just track it throughout the game. You don't have to have
Does it
somebody.
automatic zoom in on it?
Yeah.
How does it know
When it's on the goalpost, how does it survive? The ball hits.
Nobody ever hits it. So here's the zoom tracking. So this is, it's not something that's going to zoom in on certain times of the game and zoom out. It's going to be the same distance. So if you run across the field, it's going to zoom in so you're in the same frame the entire game. And so as you approach it, it's going to zoom out. And then as you run away from it, it's going to zoom in. And so this is the difference of this one from other ones. The other one and the previous one, the first model of this, only gave you a static film. And it was just, you set it up, you zoomed it as close or as far as you wanted it, and it's set. This one, it will actually stay with the frame rate, and what the nice thing is, you can set it to be about you plus, 5 to 7 meters either side. That should be about where the ball is, or, up to 10 meters. And so that way, you should be able to get you and the ball throughout the entire game.
Will it take audio?
It will. Now, you have to then have the audio hookup to it, but,
Do you know what the cost on the audio hookup is?
so, well, it's not something that you can't then buy, you have to buy the actual audio thing to go. So our radios are ear techs, you could plug into it. So the number 4 ear tech, you'd plug into this.
Okay, so what's you said this is $650.
$650 for the camera, the stand, the actual mechanism, the GPS monitor, everything you need A to Z is $650. You can then buy anything individually, which adds up to about $800 or $900 if you did it.
How much is all the audio input crap?
That's a separate thing, so the ear tech radios, whatever those cost.
I mean, don't you have to have something that's just, it clicks into the ear tech and then inputs into this?
You have
No,
to have
so-
a camera with a audio input.
So it basically just needs a dongle into our ear tech?
Yes,
That's what I was asking.
Yeah.
How much to connect our ear tech to this thing?
35-cent cord. So it's just the two
Nothing's
two ends of mail, the two mail ends go in there.
$35.
But don't buy Mark Nelson's cheap set.
So anyway, this can keep going, but I'm looking at it, and I was looking at it for many different reasons, because we do a lot of trainings where there's not somebody out there to film, but then as well, I think for referees, I think this would be a very valuable thing. It's something that then, it's not going to be for everybody, but certainly if you have a use for it as a referee, you could probably see 2 or 3 different games you've had this season where this could have been valuable. As well, I know I went up to film Nick at one point, and I'm talking to people, and I'm not zooming in when I should, I'm not filming the whole time. This would just set up and go, and it just runs the whole time, you don't have to worry about it. So even if you have a referee coach out there, instead of making them stand behind a camera, they can actually watch you at a game and give you better feedback. So this is something you can just set up and leave alone, and then they can actually coach you in the game.
Plus you could do these meetings.
Plus, you can do these meetings where you can follow me around and send somebody up and get up and say,
Everybody has to have.
What resolution is
You need the tracker on yourself.
So last,
yeah, so the tracker's about the size of, about half the iPhone. It's about that size. And it just goes on your arm or in your pocket.
so whoever, Kasha was up at Steamboat last year, and we tried to get his film on as many people as we could on that. And just standing there, filming referees and getting it right is about as exhausting as refereeing all day.
It's worse.
It's a nightmare. And Gary was our guy up at Aspen last year. And again, like some of the video quality was good, some of it wasn't. It was in the rain, it was a nightmare for you to get up there.
Well, the other problem is once you're standing up there for 6 or 7 hours, you're mentally exhausted from watching all that rugby through a viewfinder as opposed to watching the game and just,
So
you wear out.
would everyone feel that this would be a good investment to get one of these for the society? It's basically, I had Kurt present it. If we have the funds, which I probably will after we get some money in the spring, or in the end of the spring, is that something, and then maybe look to maybe building, getting maybe another one, see how it works, just because we can take it up, because this is your money, by the way, so if everyone thinks they're great, like this is something we should get.
Are they developing a new one again already? So should we wait for the next generation?
No, this one actually ships in May, so it's on pre-order right now. It would ship end of this month, I think. So this is the new one ready to drop.
How long
is the battery hold?
4 hours.
4 hours, and then you can also, there's an AC, you can put it in if you need to.
But the remote?
Yeah,
So
I think it comes with 2, and so you can change them out and charge them, or we can figure out what an extra one
Because
is.
again, like if we could, if it costs $700, and then how much would it cost us to bring up
Someone to do all that.
Jim Bramley, to bring up to Aspen and give him the job, and put him in a hotel room for 4 weeks, just to, I'm not saying what we were, a referee to do it. That's gonna be $200 a night, plus travel, plus food, so.
So who here has been filmed and actually sat down and watched it with the coach?
With the coach? No.
With a coach. Or just by yourself? How much have you gotten out of that? A lot. How embarrassing is it?
Depends on the match, I guess.
Well, and then if you have coaches there, it's real embarrassing. But it's a great learning experience. And, we kind of started with looking at film and for real when we had a developmental camp for referees, and Tim was one of the first ones, where Bruce Carter stood and filmed all day, and I sat there and took notes all day, and then we spent every night looking at film and going and breaking it down. And moved from that to here, where we get good film, and you get to go to somebody's at their house. Now we have Vimeo, and we get some film from that, but that's usually pretty crap. But this is a way that we can really, sit down with the coach and go over it, and at the same time, you have something to go back and look at when you say, well, how did what did they say about this? Something you can go back and look at it and look at your notes that you took.
So is everyone subscribed to our YouTube channel? Because every time I get video of our refs, I try and throw it there as much as I can. Usually it's been the Derek and Kurt Weaver show, because they're the only guys doing PRP, but like all the games I get, so again, like this is another tool that I would load up on our YouTube channel and you can just go there and watch it, and it's,
Kind of a no-brainer for you to turn on the right? I mean, one tournament we're gonna pay for it, so.
So Kurt, does this have the ability when you're on your computer looking at it or on a screen to stop it? And can you zoom in on it off your computer, or is it just a fixed frame the whole time?
So it's
So
gonna
say I'm
be,
sitting here and I want to look at something a lot closer, can you zoom in on your screen?
so any video editing software, you'll be able to zoom in if it's HD. So you'll be able to zoom into a certain amount before it starts to pixelate, as long as it's HD. So we could potentially do that, but I've watched a video of just it shooting around the field. It just follows the referee, and you get a pretty good perspective of what's going on. I think more so than anything else, like at Aspen, there's that scaffolding that the old drunk guys are up on there announcing all day long. The scaffolding is, you could just duct tape it to the outside of that and let it go all day, and that way it's up high, nice perspective. And I think going out to a game, so if you're going out to the turf field here, somebody just puts it on the, not even up on the, with the tripod, but just on the edge of the scaffolding right there, on the edge of the railing, and just let it go. Because the up perspective is so much better than anything else.
So how much film, or is it digital, what's the capacity of the film? We know
Well,
that
a
battery's
card,
4 hours.
you can buy a card that'll record 16 hours of video.
Okay,
So it's the battery life that'll run out before the memory does.
so we have multiple batteries. You switch.
It's the HD, it's a Sony Handycam that actually comes
It
with
actually
it,
works with
so it's
this
that
camera.
thing. And you can put a GoPro camera on there, you can put any other video camera on there, so you can actually attach a bigger video camera on there if you wanted to. So it's a nice thing to be able to use. I was going to follow this up with, so after video evaluation, I don't know what you all do to evaluate your games yourself. I know Mark, you sent out your forms, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Mark sent out his
someone
form.
I have it, but again.
I have trouble doing those kind of forms. This is the way that I've organized my brain. This is after watching video. All these things over here are a section of play. So scrums or rucks and kicks and restarts, scrum pre-put, scrum post-put, tackle, ruck, ball, positioning, running lines, communication, management, all that kind of stuff. And then each game I do, I just jot down a quick note about each one of the things. And then yellow means I need to work on it, but it's maybe not 100% vital, and red is get it fixed today. And so as I go through my matches, you start to see themes throughout this spring of things I've done great or badly or poorly or whatever it is. And so you can start to go through and kind of evaluate yourself across a season and to see if I have in Scrum the same thing 3 weeks in a row in Scrum, that's an issue. But it's only really because I do this right after the game, and then I go back and watch the video and update it if I mess anything up. But I found this has been a great thing for me to be able to do. And as well, I've now started to track my penalties. So down here at the bottom, I just track the penalty count for each game.
How does a turf field create side entry issues?
The ball bounces around a lot.
I was just wondering.
Correct.
I think you're making that.
No.
It's an entry issue, not closer to that. Anyway, all right. Well,
That may just be Kurt's point. Game played on the turf field and side entry was an issue.
It was there.
Yeah, you're making something.
Scroll across real quick, turf field, right there. Go one more.
turf field created some side entry issues.
Oh yeah, it did actually. So I have video of that game. I'll show you what the turf field created for side entry issues.
It made it run in from the side, huh?
No, the ball bounces around.
Okay.
And so the ball is not controlled at the bottom of the base of the breakdown, so everybody's just coming inside of the breakdown. That's how I was looking at it. See, you know what's great about this? It's self-eval.
Yeah.
Could you like clear that and just send it out as a template?
I'll send it out. I don't mind if you see how I suck, so it's, I'll send it out, but it's,
I don't know if I wanna see that.
yeah, it works really well for me, so it's not for everybody, but I think for video eval, I don't write down long paragraphs of notes. I'm watching a video to sort of get feelings about things, so across games, it's easier to then look at, but I think without something like this, or Mark's document that he did, which is I think a more vibrant document per game, if you don't do that with the video, then just watching video doesn't get as much out of it. And so if you don't actually apply something to the video.
Watching it doesn't count, you have to actually analyze it. And whether you're analyzing it to a spreadsheet, or to Mark's paper, or with the coach sitting there analyzing it and then you're doing both, you gotta do something to actually say, why did I do that? Or why was this happening? Instead of just, yeah, I saw that. So you have to use it critically at yourself. Which leads us into the next thing on the agenda, which is using the summer tournaments, and we got a boatload for development. Want to go into that?
Yeah, so along the themes of last year at the Cow Pie, Tom and I came up and we invited Kasha, Rick Goldhammer, Steve Gore, Jen Gray.
That's it.
Yeah, and Christopher Tay was up there. So again, we have at least 3 tournaments that we would like to eventually get, 3, 4, or 5 up there. And then basically video you guys referee, we'll send up a higher level referee like Derek, Kurt, me, Tim, Zach, or Tom. And we'll be up there to video you, and then they said, if it's a one-day tournament, we'll stay the night and then break down the video and have a good time, and not so good time for you, because it's really not correcting your mistakes. We'll have 3 opportunities for that. So we'll try and get those out. Gilligan, or Dan, Gary, do you know when those are going to be?
Sorry, was questioning
The
it?
mountain tournaments, like the Cow Pie, the ski tournament?
Gil probably has been collecting that, he and I haven't had much of a discussion. Usually there's one.
They're pretty much like weekend after weekend after weekend. The Cow
Yes.
Pie will have one in Steamboat, Breckenridge usually has one, and then there'll be a revolving one that moves around from Vale to Aspen, whatever.
Yeah, that one's been an on and off term for the last few years.
Yeah.
So we'll have information out probably in the next 10 days.
In addition, if we do have this thing, we'll probably be able to do some 7s, especially at the 7s tournament, and the evening ones, and we'll be able to do a few people at the Rocky Mountain Classic.
Well, I don't know if we'll get it by then.
It comes out in May,
Yeah,
with this one.
we haven't ordered it, it's pre-orders. So. They've been selling like hotcakes, they only made 50. And whatever.
You guys film games usually though, right?
No.
So we're gonna film games because Derek's gonna do a video review on Saturday night with all the referees. And so we'll film games, whether it be.
So are you gonna need a?
What else are you telling us?
Kurt?
You've all got, you got the email that explains this very clearly.
Kurt, are you gonna need a scaffold? Or are you
Uh,
gonna do it off the ground?
we can talk about that, I think, either, whatever we can do.
My thought would be if we could find an indication for staff.
Top one, get it back.
I would like to do that on number 1, the championship one, because that would be the best place for it.
I think the goal would be to get at least the visiting folks or the target folks on camera at some point, and that way, it's just 10 minutes of each person's game that you're,
Give me a camera.
The old Richard.
I'll walk around and do it. How about that?
that would be another way to do
That's
it.
how Richard
And
does it.
Kurt,
So-
if we need to run electricity out to it, we can do that.
We won't need to, we'll have enough juice.
I know, but I'm just saying, if you need a cord, we can run a cord out there.
So basically, it's worth it to buy one
So when?
from Organize.
So does anybody have a problem with buying one if we have the money to do this?
No.
There's camera guys that have cameras that, if you're going in a boat, it levels it.
Bob, you got anything more to add to the Rocky Mountain Challenge?
Yeah.
No, except that you're gonna see some really good high-quality rugby from kids.
We'll probably need a host for
One conversation, guys.
Guys,
So a while back, a lot of you guys wanted to help out hosting more. We have 2 referees coming in. One's a
I
second.
think Joe's gonna take care of the Kansas City contingent.
That's fine.
That weekend.
So take care of Anthony, and you can take care of Kaiser.
Okay.
Okay?
Anthony
Is
said-
we expecting to pick him up at the airport? All the hosting stuff, right?
Anthony's 17, and he's a kid, so just to, when you say that out
Yeah,
loud.
that's why.
I've met him before.
Who's got him? Potentially, yes, potentially yes.
Okay.
Again, mileage you can claim back to Ryan, or airport, whatever.
So are we gonna need a screen for Saturday night at the restaurant?
No, they're gonna meet at the hotel and do video review with the projector.
Afterwards?
Tom, we didn't talk about summer sevens yet.
Okay.
So next out, you remember how we used to have that summer sevens league that we played on half a pitch over at Cook, or wherever it was? Jacobs, and you could go there, you could not go there, it wasn't compensated, you could show up, they might buy you beer, they might not, whatever. So they've kind of restructured it to where we're gonna charge them a fee per night, and we're gonna assign at least 4 referees to it every Wednesday. Is it Wednesdays?
Yes.
Wednesdays. You're welcome to go there as well and referee there as well. Because maybe you have 6 nights to do less games, but there'll at least be 4 of you assigned to it. You will get your match fee of $50 for the night.
Did we determine the match fee?
Yeah, because we're charging
$200.
over $200, $225 to $250. We're gonna pay 4 reps.
Alright.
So you will get your match fee for being
If you're
assigned.
assigned.
If you're assigned, if you
show up and don't do it,
Good
if
on
you
you.
show up 2 weekends in a row, then maybe Ryan will assign you. We're gonna rotate it around. It's not gonna be the same 4 reps assigned every week. We're gonna change it around. So there will be a place for availability for that if you'd like to do maybe on the Wednesdays, just say yes for the 7th.
They do have 3 fields too.
No, it's to be 2 fields.
Is that 2?
It's 2 fields. It's no longer the half, I don't think it's no longer the half pitches. They're gonna go full-size pitches, so that's a lot better for development.
Okay.
Because the half pitches was like playing rugby in a phone booth, basically.
Is this all summer or is this just?
It's probably like,
6 weeks.
yeah, like 8 weeks, yeah. And it's like every Wednesday, so it's,
Who's in charge of that now? Is the Highlanders still doing it or?
there's some guy, son, his name, I don't know his name, but
It's not good enough.
You remember what the kickoff date for the first one is?
I don't.
Are there goalposts?
On one of them,
One of them, one behind the other.
for one pitch, I don't know if they're doing that.
They'll each have 1 goalpost.
But the other pitches, where the regular one was. I don't know.
Or we're
So-
kicking the common post.
Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe it's be scoring by ones. Yeah.
The
So
guy's name is,
Rory, not.
Rory's okay.
We're
Rory's the referee.
the golfer.
So that's still a half.
Roderick Williams.
That's
Rory, that's, do we have to start?
Okay. So, Philly are available for that as well.
So right now they have 5 high school teams, 4 men's teams. Fields are secure. And they're having 2 pitches. And that's 2 full-size pitches. One might be a little undersized. At Cook Park, tournament will be held on Wednesday evenings over 7 weeks from June 4th to June 16th.
So it's gonna be a Cook and not Jacobs.
16 teams are what they're hoping to get done with it. 2 matches per team per evening. Okay?
Okay. So Gil and I get some availability after that quickly.
Treasury report, Ryan. You set it out, but tell us how much money.
So we don't have a lot of money left in our account right now, just because it's end of the season. We do have quite a bit of billables to send out. Now that's the end of the season, invoices will be going out. So it's not a huge concern because that's kind of how it works. As far as things that I need to do my job, there's been pretty good match report turning them in on time. There's been a couple people that just refused to do match reports, so they haven't gotten any money for their matches this year.
Ryan, can you email me who that is?
You can say it right now.
Yeah.
No, go ahead and say it.
Public shaming, public shaming.
Eric Summers and Mark Nelson.
I'll call Fred.
I haven't done any matches.
So, but other than that, it's been okay because we've,
honestly, it takes 5 minutes or less to do a match report online. Even my stupid ass can do one. If you can't do a match report, don't expect assignments.
Did you get my match report?
Yeah. It came in,
I did.
because I have.
I didn't want it, I was wondering.
Hey, Tom.
Tom, we're gonna rethink that TMO thing this coming 2 weeks.
Well, we have that $75 fee that you have to pay for our students, so.
Here, use it, Tom.
So, but other than that, everything seems to be going well. The fun part is getting the money back after invoices, so that should be fun.
Is there enough money to buy the camera?
There is.
Seems like we need it.
And then the other part I was gonna talk about is the website, because, I asked about it and Sue was not here. Last 2 weekends ago, I went to have drinks with him, and he said he hasn't done a whole lot with it since the, Google, hangout we did. He said he's still trying to figure out what we actually need in the website, and, meeting with some developers that can handle those things. So, but that's pretty much it so far. And then the only other thing that, I think it's just something I have to talk to the executive committee about, so nothing for everybody at this point.
All right.
And it's 8:10, we're right on time, and Ryan is a new father and can't remember what night's which.
Game breeders.
So he's not going to make his presentation. He sends his regrets and says that he'll have a super duper, words exactly that thing.
I'm sure that sounds exactly like Brian said.
That's what it says.
The question is he gonna be awake enough to be able to do it?
Oh, no, a killer presentation for the next meeting.
We can do a video review if we want right
Yeah,
now.
let's do a couple videos.
Derek, do you have some clips you want to, some South Africa clips you want to throw up there?
What?
Some South Africa clips you want to throw up there?
South African?
The,
I say rugby.
Do we have the Vimeo stuff from like that elbow to the face and stuff that we can have the ARs looking at?
elbow to the face, which one?
About the Hawaiian tic-tac.
I could go through some referee AR interaction. Which I must have noticed. And work that right there.
Do the thing where
I
like,
got this, I forgot.
Yeah, go ahead and look
break
at
down
that.
your own film.
Go ahead and look it up.
I forgot to give you one.
How to break down your own game.
Ryan.
More headshots than nice.
It's all right.
You didn't know, I just texted Brian. I showed you the elbow to the face and sentence.
Yeah, it's hard to see.
I have this. I have one of this.
Do what?
Should have used,
Were you out?
Show yours?
Bob,
Yeah, town.
Maybe
Yeah,
go
town.
for
Yeah, I think I was saying. Did you ever get shorts for that?
I did, thanks.
Okay. No,
When
you
they
get
come.
to me.
No, I know, but
Okay.
that's the ugliest shorts in the world.
Thank you.
I don't wear them.
I don't wear them.
You guys, yeah.
Had I known that, I wouldn't have bought them. What was our new kid?
no, it's too far away, so I'll put up my shorts.
I would swear some other kid.
I did almost punch Zeb for making a mistake.
What do you about you?
You should have.
I threw a rugby ball at him.
Should have punched him right in the snout.
I told him that's why you see the He did not
Did you ref on
appreciate
Sundays?
that.
You just wanna do the
I
same
should have
one?
said that's where you're
Just
from.
go through,
That would have been really,
I'll go through one of my games.
Which one? You don't even
I don't. It
Talk
could have
about
been the other way
how
around.
you break down the zone.
Yeah.
All right.
Show the whole game.
What do you want? Search by all you do.
Who is this?
So here's my Northeast numbers.
But the team.
Barbos and,
What's time?
It isn't a key.
What time do we have?
Which is so
We have
convenient.
50 minutes.
2 hours.
Audio's not very good.
Who's playing there?
This is all back in Barbos.
Back some white.
So I guess, I don't know, we just
impromptu. We'll just go through this. This is kind of like how you would break down your own game. I don't have any like notes in front of me, but just going like looking at breakdown, and then like a penalty or something comes up. And this is how I do it. I'll maybe like look at it again, and then like if that was a shit call, or if that was a good call, or a good no call, or whatever. So we'll just watch like the first, I don't know, 10 minutes. Audios. If anybody has something they want to look at again, just say stop.
There you go.
Yeah, I can go back.
I know, I was ready. It's kind of debatable as whether or not a rough. How I kind of looked at it is I just thought I kind of judged this to be a ruck. It's kind of a sloppy ruck at best. And kind of in my head right now, I'm thinking like, is that even a ruck? Or is that maybe, hopefully we can get out of this advantage. Just being honest.
Call it grand right now.
And I'm like, okay, please make a break. That's good enough for me. That's good enough for me. A lot of tackle-onlys in this game.
Did you call every tackle only, or you?
No.
I mean, this is high level, so they should know.
Only in cases where someone would question offside, that's really the only time you would really need to do that.
Okay.
So what he's saying is, if the attacking team is saying they're offside,
Then say
you
tackle
just say
only.
tackle and keep going.
It seems like a bit of a tactic right now. To only.
Bardos do it, Glendale does it more often now. It's really just, yeah. Not exactly the tiniest of scrums, but ball came out pretty quickly, so in that situation, we can play well. I'm not saying like this is how you should think, but this is just what's going through my mind when I'm breaking down a game.
And you're going to beat it?
Barely, like able to not touch. Like geometry was
So
not
now the ERRFU.
geometry was not there. There was something. The ball would go out, and then they mark it with that. Like,
I saw one that was
like, isn't it? Skip ahead a bit.
solution.
Balls in touch.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, you wanna be that guy?
But that's what Richard wants you to do.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Right here, somebody will come here right here for a quick throw, but not in this situation.
Right. Anytime there's gonna be a quick throw, yeah. Not
Not right here.
Something you manage.
Okay, alright. Good, noted. I'll
Okay, so
put that down.
I think it's a good thing to discuss, so, Derek, you rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
You're gonna carry on.
I know. So technically, the ball was kicked into touch, right, by White, and all the White players were in front
Offside.
of the kicker. They are offside. Even then, when the ball was in touch, they are still offside, and in case of a quick throw, they are still offside. So what Mark is saying is, you want to vocalize to those players, either retreat or hold or whatever's going on that you need to vocalize, to make sure that they either get onside or they don't then participate in whatever might happen in the future.
Alright.
Mark, I think it's taking the stance that we should be a little bit more harsh on them to make sure that they...
The quick throw is on, and in that situation he's in front. Yes, technically that is a penalty. It is a manageable situation where you say clear out or move away or whatever. Anyway.
Derek usually just argues with himself when he's watching the video.
So when's that argument?
There are people in the room right now. So penalize this guy, penalize that guy. I'm just kidding. Ball went into touch like at least 5 meters forward. I was like gonna make that. How to make friends and alienate people. Alright, so this is 4 minutes and 41 seconds into the game. Not a whole lot of stuff happening really, like no trigger issues, nothing like that, and then this happens. Straight penalty with an admonishment, possibly a yellow card, but in my head what's going on is I look at my watch and I think, oh shit, like that's only 5 minutes of the game. That seems like a bit of an overreaction to give a yellow card. I could be wrong.
So Derek, I have a question. Why would you think that 5 minutes in the game that didn't warrant a yellow card?
Should it matter what time of the game?
Yes.
Should and it should matter, but as far as the game's, like nothing bad has happened. That didn't look too egregious to me.
On the boil.
Popped right up. I think yellow card could possibly inflame the situation, and you could get in a situation
Why
where...
would a yellow card?
Hold on. You could get in a situation where on back is like, the white team is like, what the hell? Like, wow, boom, just straight out of the gates, yellow card, we're man down, 5 minutes in the game. Is that what's going to be like? So that's my stance of just like, everybody settle down, had a word with the guy, he goes, I'm cool. The player who was tackled, he popped up, no worries. So it is a penalty, it is a serious penalty, that's a high shot. If that happened 10 more times, maybe 5 other times, I'd probably give a yellow card, maybe not. But in this situation, I chose to play on, or I chose to penalize only.
There are certain things that are no option. You pick a guy up, dump him on his head, there's no option. If you punch them in the face and they go to the ground, they're out cold, there's no option. This, you look at the tenor of the game, you look at the reaction of the player that got hit, he didn't give a shit. You look at the...
Like teammates getting involved, like
Yeah,
those
nobody-
players came over and
nobody-
freaked out.
Nobody took offense at it.
The whole sideline was like, whoa, like that's it.
And probably
It happens, I mean, right?
the reason nobody took offense at it is there was an immediate whistle, so we knew that it had been seen that was done. So his feeling is fine with that.
Okay, well, my point was, don't ever take consideration of time.
No, that's a fair, I agree, that's a fair statement.
Hang on, I don't know, because you're gonna lose trust from the players in the 4th minute of the game if you make a harsh decision
Oh, I
too
agree.
early on.
I agree.
And so you're then a reactionary for the rest of the game, and you've lost the trust of the players for the next
No,
game.
I'm not disagreeing with what
Yeah.
you said, but I'm just saying, don't always bring that into consideration when you
I
consider.
mean, that's not the main factor, there's all kinds of stuff that goes into the
Everything
game,
goes
like,
into the decision.
like we just mentioned, reaction, player reaction, fan reaction.
I mean, if you guys, if you saw people jumping up with fists, it's gonna be a different story.
Jesus Christ, that's not what he's saying.
Okay, so,
I think as well, at a high school game, that would be a card
Right.
without a thought to then potentially time or such, because it's a different situation. I think at the game at this level is, like someone said, they pop right back up, the guy didn't even really get affected by it. You know, you're playing contact sports, right?
okay.
And that pole is really strategic.
It isn't always.
Well, girls can't tell what it means.
Solo shot, motion sickness.
Yeah.
Nothing really in that series of play, pretty,
So has anybody seen anything where you question what's going on? It's nice to have 10 minutes of review and one penalty. So that's.
I'll skip ahead a bit to, 2 instances of foul play that happened, so we'll go over this, which was not called, not the best decision, but, yeah.
Did you play the game, were you just thinking they were both going for the ball? I mean, was that?
That's what I saw, just looking at it like live. It looks a little different on video. And in my AR's defense, she actually did flag it, but when I said play on, she put her flag down, which is what you're supposed to do as an AR. But as a referee, you shouldn't necessarily jump to a conclusion like that quickly. Because in this situation, the hit happens, he's got his hand up, this guy's got his hand up, this guy's pointing, everybody like stops, even the black players stop. He's the guy that you did the red card to. What?
He's
The guy that got hit is the guy. He's the guy, yeah, he's the guy who didn't get carded, so he took a shot.
It's karma.
So, as an AR, he says play on. And depending on the pre-match briefing, you might keep the flag up because he doesn't know what you saw.
Yeah, the tough part is we weren't radioed together as well, so that kind of made it a little awkward. I didn't even look at her. But I will say, just like, this, penalizing this makes sense. Like, no one's gonna argue against this being a penalty. People will argue against this not being a penalty, but this being a penalty, no one has a problem with that. You blow the whistle, all 30 players in the field are like, okay, I get this. This is a penalty, can't hit a guy in the air. But allowing it to play on is highly debatable at best.
Because you just created flashpoint.
Yeah, honestly, luckily, there was a breakthrough, right? Because then everybody started focusing on the play.
Yeah.
Well, and luckily, he didn't get
Yeah,
punched
they
on
didn't.
it. He didn't- Somebody else coming down didn't punch somebody.
Exactly. It's a poor decision.
I have a feeling 14 on white.
14 on White must have done something to somebody.
Yeah, to the guys in the team.
Girlfriend or something, because he got hit.
He wasn't getting defended by his own.
He gets hit off the ball like or before the major hit. He gets like pushed around once or twice.
High school game.
Nothing really happened in the breakdown, just kind of, I will say, these PRP matches, it's pretty amazing how well these teams are able to clear threats, like in clean out, you agree with me on that? Like in situations, like a D2 or D3 rugby match, where you would see like a player going to poach and you'd be like, okay, this ball's gonna be killed, the penalty's gonna have to come from this, no matter what. But in these PRP games, the players are so good at the clean out that they'll just drive off threats, and you'll be able to get out of situations where you don't have to penalize. Because I had my hands down. Well, I penalized because he put his hands on the ground, and he just said, I had my hands down. And you hear this conversation as we're walking to the lineup. The hit is after that.
Is that Lorraine Campbell?
She's on the far side.
Sue?
Yeah, it's just like.
Unless you. It's on the other side.
Hey, I got a question for you. I was AR in that game, Junior Giants or whatever the team was in green, and the defending team was setting up their jumper really early. That hooker would hold the ball, call it, and he'd pull it back like this, and they'd go, right? And then he'd wait and send the ball. And so I think they got 3 short arms for sending players each time. We had a hard time managing that. Is that the start of the throw when he brings it back here, or because he would hold it here, and then he would go.
Is you manage it.
I was in the middle.
As a referee, how do you manage it as a referee? They go up early, you think it's a little funny of delivery, show me what you do for your delivery. Boom, okay, that's set there. You do it like that every time, and you guys don't go up early. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, his own teammates were going up early. I mean, it was a kind of a hard position.
But you have him, this is what I want to do every time. Then he either faking it or they going up early after that.
And then once he figured out he had him going up early, you know, and he was calling, you gotta bring him down, and then he'd send the ball, right? Because he's smart enough to.
As soon as they come down.
Yeah.
Play through it.
I would just blow the whistle, guys wait for the ball, get it in.
Right, yeah. It was a weird, he was struggling with it.
I'd say anything like that that feels like deception,
Yeah.
you don't want to let go, right? So any like fake kicks or, you know, oh, I touched the ball down, but I touched on my toe. So David Fee used to do this. He'd go in the end goal, and he'd touch down his foot, and then he'd just keep running. It's like, no, I'm gonna count that as a touchdown, because that's what you were showing everyone. But it was on my foot. It's like any deception is just not in the game.
And some people
Just
just have
game,
to
the 10-4 game.
find out what the weird motion is, and
Yeah.
that's what he has to say.
Was he flinching a little bit as he was back there?
Oh, he would hold it, call it.
Fake pass.
So he wasn't flinching?
Oh, it was nice, the kid was.
What is deception?
Okay.
Well, he was
Deception
AR.
is not
If he's in front of you doing that, say,
So a
that's
fake-
Okay, guys, let's look up.
And then
You have
touch on the
that-
foot or
ability
the
to do
fake
that.
kick
If you
throwing.
throw a dummy pass, you're not trying to convince
Passing
somebody,
out the ball. That's
you're not trying to
You're not allowed
convince
to
somebody
take
to
off.
commit a penalty
Is that what you
by jumping early.
Exception?
Somebody was straight passing the ball.
Okay, guys, we got one more
Hi.
foul play, let's just see what's done.
So remember the first high tackle was involving Barbo's number 12 and the white number 14? The second foul play involved number 14, number 7 black. And then so here is the number 14 is about to have a really bad day. Bad month, he's going to be eating out of a straw for a while. So if you want to, we'll just watch it all the way through and then we'll go back and look at it again.
Oh, can you rewind that?
So he doesn't have the ball.
Number one.
Let me just,
Did you run into the wrong player?
What did this guy do?
Hey, Derek, just the backward arrow on the keyboard goes, it just takes it back by frames. So if you want to go forward, just forward arrow, or just use slow.
so if you want to watch, Awesome Malik was right up there.
He's never done this before.
Now, I will say say this is a common play now, like in the current game. You're gonna have one player coming up at a different angle, at like one angle, which would be this player, and then the 14 is gonna come out at a different angle, and it's up to the fly half to choose one. And so like as a defender, they're taking like a man. So like whoever the center's got whoever, and then apparently Ata had number 14.
Clearly.
So they're lining up their hit. He's expecting a pop pass, which doesn't come.
Was he out?
He broke his jaw. I will say this is a good learning tool for, or learning good lesson for myself. Is just when you have foul play, I always try to separate the teams, and you want to separate them to where they're really separated. I would say I did a poor job of making sure we had our own area because, as you'll see, some of the all-back players kind of get involved in the conversation, and this conversation goes on a little too long, in my opinion, because Ata's trying to justify hitting the player, and then the Barbell's coach, which is their number 10, he comes over and gets involved, which you don't see on camera. And then you see the all-back players come in. So I will say, just when you're given a card, take your time. Separate the teams, get everybody back, you get your own space, unless it's just like a bang on something you're going to immediately send somebody off or whatever. But take your time, bring the captain over so it's a conversation where it's clear and you look like you're in control and it doesn't look like players are standing behind saying like, give that guy a card. Which is
And
what
the other
happens
thing
here.
that by separating, it gives yourself a chance to slow down your breathing and your heart and the adrenaline.
It also gives you a chance to calm down both teams.
Well, it honestly gives you a chance to change your mind. So if you replay whatever you saw in your brain, and either you could escalate it, you could de-escalate it, or just give it, whatever you thought it was going to be originally. But it gives you a chance to breathe, which a lot of times after you replay it in your mind once, well, maybe that's not a card. Or, hey, time off, you go this way, AR, come on in. I just want to know that you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking. So,
Eric, did you consider consulting an AR on this today?
No, I mean, I have it right in front of me. I think...
Again, that gives you time to
No, that's 100% right, but I think in this situation I just took full ownership of it. I wouldn't suggest that every time. Definitely.
I think had you been thinking red, then definitely consult the AR, just to kind of get a different
But
idea.
at the same time, when you know what you saw, back yourself. There's situations where you think you saw something and then you go and talk to the AR and he gives you something completely different or like a different number or something and you're like, I'm not looking over there, but I'm just saying. No, it happens. It happens. But have that confidence in yourself to make a decision. At the same time, when you're going to make a rash decision like a red card, it's probably a good idea to consult other people. That's happened early in the season where someone maybe has overreacted, and whether or not they would have been able to talk themselves out of a red card, that's debatable. But in this situation, I was just like, boom, 100%, this is a yellow card.
So, if the thought process was, again, like for foul play, to start at red and work your way down, what would be the mitigating factor to work your way down to go 100% this is a yellow card?
Well, I didn't mean.
I wouldn't say you always start at a red card.
Why not? That's kind of what we taught, is you start at red and work your way down.
In like a tit tackle, but not in like foul play always, no.
I think it's a shoulder charged tackle off the ball.
This is not, to me, this is not a red card. I don't go through foul play like that, unless it's a tit tackle.
Yet, this is blatant, and I think it's very clear what we all think about this. He was, though, right within things. He wasn't 3 guys away doing something like this. It wasn't a punch up. No, the player. Like, it was, he very well could have had the ball as much as the other guy had it. He made a wrong decision, and he made a dangerous tackle in that wrong decision. So I don't know that that's a...
You can't hear the audio saying...
Kurt, what you're saying is it wasn't dastardly.
Right.
It wasn't dastardly.
Yeah. You don't have to
I got it.
As a signing officer, you could...
I stand by that comment, it was egregious.
Oh, sure. I think, if these 2 teams did not, if this wasn't the end of their season, I think you would probably see that.
We're gonna look up egregious.
If
because of the injury.
Right. If this
That's
was,
That's unconscionable. Outstandingly bad.
Guys, be quiet.
that would be cited as a red card, and it had to go to judicial to downgrade that.
Okay,
Just because of the shoulder charge and what happened.
so you're assuming that that would have been a dangerous tackle had he received the ball too?
Yeah.
Probably.
Because
The way he timed it.
thinking in terms of maybe he saw that he wasn't gonna get the ball and he might have popped out of a regular tackle.
Go
And
back over.
that's when
Go
the
back over
collision
it again.
So,
He was committed, ball or not.
Yeah. that was
Well,
it.
so the Malifas tend to do this. And it's kind of like a Polynesian thing. It's something that IRE is trying to eliminate out of the game. It's the hit with the shoulder and then like an attempt to wrap. So they're
Yeah.
coming in, they're hitting really hard.
yeah,
And they're hitting it high. And then they're trying to, the hit comes so hard that, oh, I'm trying to wrap. They're trying to take this out.
Derek, can you frame by frame this, watch
okay,
this?
so,
It's very,
I think to your point though, Greg, you just easily see it the same way. If,
it
in
looks
live,
pretty low right there.
in live speed.
So the ball's already been passed.
It's
The ball-
gone
the ball's-
now.
Oh, yeah, the ball's been passed,
Hold on,
actually.
the ball's already been passed to this player who actually crosses
Behind.
the number 12. He's crossed it, so most defenders will take that player who has the ball. Whether or not this stemmed from the high tackle earlier in the game is debatable. His brother seemed to think that was possible. He was there, that's I asked him. So this guy has the
Look how low he
ball.
is right there.
This guy has the ball. He's taken 1, 2, 2 steps, 3 steps. Ball's over here. Hit happens back here. I'm in clear view of it.
Yeah, he got paid for proximity there a little bit.
No, I
think that was just a,
that was, he was lining him up.
that was payback. I think it was payback.
Derek, let me ask you a question.
He had the ball.
And that's why I said.
Derek, what would you have done differently, what would you do differently next time?
On this,
I don't.
in this situation,
Mm-hmm.
probably nothing
I would've
up
given
until with the actual.
No, once it happened, was there anything you would do differently?
Yeah, separate the teams a little further and just like wait a second or two more. Let both, mainly let the Barros kind of cool off a second, like just because when I get the penalty and I go to want to talk to him, he doesn't really want to talk to me. He has like he has like fire eyes, you know, like he just hit the hell out of somebody. He has no idea what's happening really. Like maybe just give him a second or two to calm down and then talk to him.
Your out might be as well, and I think I do this a lot now.
Checking with an
If there's
AR
an
isn't a
injury-
bad idea.
But if there's an injury, the first thing would be like whistle off, team's back, and then, trainer on, and kind of deal with this for a second.
Yeah.
And then, then you can regather, and then go into your.
I mean, I can show you a clip of a situation, it would take me a while to find it, of a red card that happened, it was like 2 years ago, where there's a high kick, guy comes over, takes out his legs, the player lands on his head, is totally messed up, we have an injury. There was about like a 5-minute period where I was able to talk through with both ARs and actually the referee coach, what were we gonna do here? And we went from all scenarios, we went penalty only, yellow, red, back down to yellow. I mean, we went all over the place. We ended up with red. That's where we settled on. We're like, this is a clear red card. But exactly that point, like I was given an opportunity due to the injury, where it was a natural stoppage. People weren't waiting on me. People weren't like, come on, ref, make a decision. They were focused on this injury. So once that was settled, then
Well, you had the same option.
you shoot the guy. So
Yeah. This guy wasn't getting up and running around right away.
just curious by a show of hands, who would go red? And who would go yellow? There's no right or wrong answer, so who would go red?
Especially given the history of the player.
I'm assuming the other people would go yellow?
I agree with
Who would go no card?
No, well, that's not an option.
You're fired.
I'll be the one.
Okay, Mark, let me ask you this, if there was a wrap tackle,
It's still high, still a high shot. And then-
no, a wrap low tackle, if it were a legitimate tackle at a player at instant where it could have been a pass and looked like they could have been, Would you have carded him then?
No, it's yellow, I mean, it's.
I don't know that we have enough ball if they don't have.
Well, no, you can't tackle somebody without the ball.
Well,
That's
So
so
it-
quick, so quick.
This is where, when the teams are getting as good as they are at the misdirection stuff, you're gonna have a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I think, had he grabbed him and run him back 5 meters and then dumped him, that's different than if he makes the impact and they kind of bounce off and then back up. You know, that's a little bit different.
On Saturday, I was dumb enough to listen to a couple of comments from the sideline. When I went to, just chat with them, keep it on, civil. And one guy complained that their captain was hit late 4 times that game. And so I said, well, the captain is a really good player. And he holds on to the ball till the last minute, like a good player should. So he's gonna get hit hard without the ball a lot of time, That happens at, like you said, this level. There's a lot of contact.
That was a great answer, by the way.
Go ahead.
so this guy broke his jaw, right? Does that
I mean, I don't
factor
know
into-
that. I don't know that when it happened. I know that because of after the fact.
But you can tell
This
whether
guy is
there's
messed
like,
up.
you can tell whether the guy injured the guy or not a lot of the
Correct.
time. Is that a factor you would use?
Yes.
Yes, and had, like they said, had that not been the last game of the season, that would have gone to citation and he would have resigned. He would not, he would have yeah. So,
I think though, it's not always, if you saw something that was a penalty only, or maybe barely even a penalty, and you saw that somebody got injured out of it, it's not always immediately hop into something more.
no,
Take that into consideration with things, but, it's not, don't react to just, especially, we're dealing with a lot of high school rugby, those kids tend to go down and rest a little while, and they hurt their fitness more than anything, so just,
I mean,
you gotta evaluate.
people get hurt with legitimate hits.
Yeah.
So,
Say, we were incident free after this.
Right, but if it's a legitimate hit
I swear to God.
that gives the guy a concussion that gets him taken out versus an illegitimate hit that is just fine.
so, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, let's go.
Derek, do you have another clip or?
Nope.
You said to
Do
take
we have
it.
any other business?